appreciation, reassurance, affection. Whatever medicine is needed today. And let's take in together now one more deep breath, maybe sighing out loud as we exhale. Riding your breath all the way back down. Before gently opening eyes and bringing them first to the horizon before the screen, maybe taking a look around. And then bringing ourselves to this group. Anyone who wants to stretch in any particular way that would feel kind right now. So much care needed for our bodies and minds right now. So much to take in, so much bearing witness, so much to metabolize and integrate. So just a reminder to up and expand our practice of care for this body. It's the Earth's body. So today, in honor of Joanna being in the hospital and just feeling her presence so much every day right now, I want to share a teaching from Joanna about uncertainty. Seems pretty darn relevant to us all. And also just presence, that when we look at how our practice can really support us into a deep level of resiliency that is both soft and fierce, that is the resiliency of interconnected life, the living intelligence of our body minds, recognizing our connectivity in every moment, rather than falling for any of the internal or collective stories of separation, of distance, of isolation, of aloneness. The stories from Joanna's daughter and assistant of how she's been navigating this hospital experience is, to me, such brilliant evidence of how our practice fortifies us. And so when I imagine the physical pain of breaking one's hip, of simultaneously having pneumonia, of being in hospital, it doesn't sound like a good time. It just doesn't sound like a good time. And every day there are posts to our community supporting Joanna about the gratitude she's full of, the joy and laughter, and most important to me, playfulness. Our resiliency comes from that internal badass nature, which is resilient and playful, okay? And so, just as an example, the other day, Joanna asked her daughter to pull up the shades. She's in bed, she's in major pain. And her words are, "My world is so beautiful. I love my world." Her window looks out at the parking lot, and Joanna looks out and says, "Those trees are so amazing. Oh my, look at them. They are so brave to be who they are. They are brave to be growing where there is hard soil for big trees. And then as she watched people getting out of their cars, I see you coming to work. You probably don't even know how important you are and how brave you are to come to work and how appreciated your contribution is to our community, to your community. And every single day there have been posts with this degree of joyful chutzpah. Yeah, Joanne is well aware, probably more tuned in than any of us, to the atrocities happening in our world right now. The heartache I felt Saturday night when I learned the news about U.S. bombing Iran. And to remember that the joy we cultivate, the playfulness, it's core to our resiliency. And we all know this very well, but it's core to supporting communal resiliency, one another. The teaching I want to share from Joanna today is very, very sweet. It's the 5 gifts of uncertainty. Joanna liked to teach things in 5s sometimes because it was easy to remember on one hand, okay? And so these come from a chapter called Strengthened by Uncertainty in one of her books. And I just want us to pause and take in that phrase, like strengthened by uncertainty. And you know I'm a great fan of how much there is for us to learn by being with uncertainty. And I mean by not resisting uncertainty. Anicca, impermanence, is the foundation for our practice. And yet still raise your hand if you're aware of how often it can be easy for you to resist uncertainty, resist the not knowing, resist just change, the signs of impermanence that are a part of every single day and night of our lives, okay? And so these teachings are very resonant with luminous darkness, but I want to share them in Joanna's words, okay? So the first gift is the gift of the present moment, acknowledging that if we want to turn away from the moment, if we want to cling to stories about impermanence and change, there is suffering, that's a given. But every time we give ourselves to resting in the moment as it is, something greater opens for us. And when we, in our meditation, connected with gravity, just right now, I'm finding it useful somatically, as there's so much that can pull people up and away into story, to really consider, through an animistic perspective, gravity as a sacred ally in each moment. Gravity as a spirit that is grateful to hold you, and just see what shifts, okay? Gravity bringing you back to the moment. The next is the gift of fresh recognition of the power of intention. We talk about all of this, but Joanna says our intentionality endows the present moment with direction, okay? And so from not knowing, from being willing to just rest with life as it is, we drop into the simultaneity of a deeper knowing, meaning openness to direction, openness to our inner compass, openness to intuitive knowing. The gift of befriending our pain and the great mystery it brings us. Just reminding us all, we can actually appreciate our pain for the information it is bringing us. I perceive the human ego as so stuck in its ways, the collective ego as maintaining its ways through a continual wall around itself, wanting to protect status quo, wanting to protect the way things are, wanting to not just create lies to affirm that, but blocks to letting other information in. Just to pause and raise your hand if you're aware of, even if you don't see it in operation, you're aware of ways your own psyche pushes out information that doesn't match with what you already think you know that doesn't match with your karmic story, okay? As delicious as it is, it's totally made up, okay? And so the next is the gift of our solidarity with all of our relations. And I love this one because this is what motivates us to act. We've talked about this many times in Sangha, but we cannot engage in this work with the orientation or trying to benefit ourself. It's not that it's misguided, it's that it won't work. It's that if you just try to do this for yourself, not only will you ultimately find there is no self, but you will also not access the energy, the well of vitality, the resources, the intelligence that only comes when we drop deeply into the well of interbeing, when we drop into, on behalf of our collective, supported by our collective. Just look to see how this relates to your own direct experience. There are so many shamanic traditions that I'm aware of and have experienced where all healing only occurs within community. You bring what needs to be healed. You bring your broken bones. You bring your broken heart to community. It's very basic in traditional indigenous cultures and something so basic that's been forgotten here. We're supposed to bring it now to AI, right? Type it in and see what results you get. It's not the same thing, okay? And lastly, the gift of an immensity of time, our true age, remembering that our actions today will have an impact generations from now. So it's the long view. It's the view that an indigenous friend pointed out to me the other day is, I'm always holding 100 years as my frame. And that's a mild expression of the long view, okay? So just pause, close your eyes and take in a deep breath. Touch whatever uncertainty you're facing in your personal life right now. Touch the uncertainty we're facing collectively, noticing how it feels to do so. And notice if any of these 5 teachings feel particularly potent for you today, okay? The gift of the present moment, fresh recognition of our intention, the gift of befriending our pain and the great mystery it brings us, the gift of our solidarity with our relations, the gift of an immensity of time, our true age. And also just that phrase that I think is really rich, strengthened by uncertainty, just to what degree that's alive for you. And as I set up breakout rooms, if anyone who's not able to join can let me know now. And for you, you might just drop into some written reflection if there's a reason you can't join, okay? But for everyone else, you'll have time to connect with another extraordinary being and just to, I'm checking out what's in the chat box, just to take turns with one person speaking from the heart. This is a continual practice, and one listening, not adding or offering anything or interjecting. Then just to rest in the pause together before switching. And always with the reminder that, we get to hear one another's words, and we get to also take in the essence, the presence beyond